Søren Kierkegaard quotes that become more meaningful with age. What if everything in the world were a misunderstanding? What if laughter were really tears? Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought which they seldom use. Why bother remembering a past that cannot be made into a present? The thing is to understand myself, the thing is to find a truth which is true for me, to find the idea for which I can live and die. That is what I now recognize as the most important thing. Happiness is the greatest hiding place for despair. Many of us pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that we hurry past it. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. How absurd men are. They never use the liberties they have, they demand those they do not have. They have freedom of thought, they demand freedom of speech. The proud person always wants to do the right thing, the great thing. But because he wants to do it in his own strength, he is fighting not with man, but with God. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Here are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true, the other is to refuse to believe what is true. See it all perfectly, there are two possible situations, one can either do this or that. My honest opinion and my friendly advice is this: do it or do not do it, you will regret both. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. The tyrant dies and his rule is over, the martyr dies and his rule begins. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. To cheat oneself out of love is the most terrible deception, it is an eternal loss for which there is no reparation, either in time or in eternity. If anyone on the verge of action should judge himself according to the outcome, he would never begin. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen but, if one will, are to be lived. It is so hard to believe because it is so hard to obey. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. It is impossible to exist without passion. There is nothing with which every man is so afraid as getting to know how enormously much he is capable of doing and becoming. It is the duty of the human understanding to understand that there are things which cannot be understood. The self-assured believer is a greater sinner in the eyes of God than the troubled disbeliever. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe.